In Minecraft 1.17, it is possible to breed shulkers, creating more of them and allowing you to harvest their shulker shells to make shulker boxes, which, if you didn't know, they're like the best thing ever. Portable inventory, super easy in Minecraft. It is awesome. So, how does this work? Well, we're gonna that's what this video is all about. So let's start. In order to breed a shulker, well, it's a little bit different than the normal parrots and bees. Think of it less as breeding and more as duplicating or splitting. So there is a way to duplicate or to split shulkers that already exist in the game. You're not gonna like feed one wheat and then it's gonna like turn into love mode and do its thing. The way to activate that, to get your chance at activating that, a shulker needs to be hit with a shulker bullet. So that bullet could be from, so like whenever you're in, and you're like, what, a shulker bullet? Whenever you're in survival, shulkers will fire out these projectiles. They are the shulker bullets. There you go. That's one right there. And when one of those hits another shulker, or it could even be from the same shulker, that is when you get that chance to duplicate or to split a shulker. That chance can really be brought all the way up to 100% chance. Like, you could make the scenario so perfect that that will happen every single time, although that is not without difficulty, okay? And that's basically what this whole video is. There are basically 4 parameters that you have to worry about whenever you're trying to split the shulker. So let me go through them quickly, and then I'll go into them more in depth. First is that the shulker actually has to have its shell open. So it will animate, and if it's closed, it just won't work. If the shell is open, then it will, and you can move on to the, if it's closed, 100% chance it's not gonna happen. But then if it's open, then all the other factors come into play. Number 2 is if it has a valid spawning location. We're gonna get more into that later. Number 3 is if the shulker doesn't have any other shulkers around it. So every other shulker that's within a certain area will decrease the chance of splitting by 20%. And the 4th thing is the shulker's health. If the health of the shulker is below half, then there is a chance that the shulker will just teleport away without trying to split. So those are the 4 factors we have to worry about when trying to achieve a split. Now, number 1, that one's pretty self-explanatory, okay? Like, if the shell is closed, then it's not going to split. And if it's open, then all the other factors come into play. So, moving on to number 2. It needs to have a valid teleporting location whenever it has whenever that chance occurs. And remember, that chance is when it gets hit with another shulker bullet. So once it gets hit with a shulker bullet, all of these things activate, and it tries to do it. And if it can't do it, then the shulker will just take damage to the shulker bullet. If it can actually split, then it'll split and no damage will be taken, which is kind of nice. So what is a valid spawn or teleport location for a shulker? Well, whenever it gets hit with that bullet, it will look in an 8x8 radius. So you can see these iron blocks here. Those are 8 iron blocks. The shulker itself is technically the 9th block, but it goes in both directions. So 8 plus 8 plus the 1 block that it is occupying, that's 17 blocks. So a 17 by 17 by 17 cube is where this shulker will look to teleport to. It does it randomly. So whenever it gets hit, it's just going to randomly look within this 17 cube. And let's just assume like where I am right now is where it decides to randomly look. So I'm going to set where I am as red concrete. So let's say this is the spot it chose. Well, is this a valid teleporting spot? Right here, doesn't really look like it because there's no block for it to attach to. It also needs a second block space for its shell to open. So if you didn't know, if you actually trap a shulker, here, no, get out of here, I don't want snow. If you trap a shulker inside of just a 1x1 cube, then it will teleport out. It cannot just be in a single block. It needs to have a block for its shell to open. If you cover that block up, it will turn so that it will then be able to open. And so you do need 2 blocks. So that's another thing that it needs. Not only does it need to have something to attach to, a wall for it to attach to, but it needs a second block for its shell to open. And so this is not a valid spot. So how could I make this better for this situation? Well, I would maybe try to add, more blocks into this big old cube. I don't know why I keep grabbing snow. I don't want snow. Iron. There we go. So we could make basically a grid of things inside of here that would allow more shulkers to spawn, and this would be a great way to increase our chances that it will actually teleport. Now, remember, I mentioned that it did a check, so that was like 1 check that it would do, and if it's a valid spot, then it will be there. But it will actually perform that check 5 times. So if any time during those 5 times that it is successful, then it will split, it'll teleport over there, and everything is good. So you have a little bit of leeway. Obviously, some blocks being in an area will, cause it probably to fail every once in a while, or you may just get unlucky. But because you have 5 chances for that to occur, then it's basically guaranteed if you have a great spawning area like this. Next, I mentioned other shulkers will throw off the chance. So within this area that it is trying to spawn inside of, every other shulker, so minus itself, is a 20% decrease in chance that it will create a split. So this one, 100% is good as long as it finds a place to spawn. Right here, you only have 80%. Then you go down to 60%, 40%, 20%, and 0% chance because there is now 5 others along with the one that is trying to split. So you need to make sure that you clear out other shulkers from the area if you want to create a good split and a good farm. And then the last factor is how the health of the actual shulker is doing. So let's say the bullet comes in, it hits the shulker, and it can split. Wonderful. It split. Nothing took damage. We're all good. But if it hits the shulker and then it can't split, well, then the shulker takes damage from that bullet as if you were a player or another mob. So when it takes that damage, obviously that's not good in the long term. In the short term, if the damage of the shulker goes below 50% of its health, then every other time that it takes damage, there will be a 25% chance that the shulker isn't even going to attempt to split and that it will just teleport away. So your chances will be diminished if its health is low, that it might just try to teleport without trying to split, which means that no good, because then it's just moved and it's out of there. And if you're trying to create a farm, you kind of need that guy to stay where he is. By the way, if I didn't say this before, if it splits, the shulker that splits will actually teleport away, but then it'll create another one right where it was. So to the player, to everybody involved, it looks like it didn't move, and it will just create another shulker off to the side. So given all these factors, how can we create an effective farm? Ilmango had a pretty good way to create a possibility for the bullet of a shulker to hit itself. So in this situation, we have a snow golem, and he is in between a spawning space with a shulker, and in between there, we got some walls, some cobblestone walls, and we also have some trapdoors. And that will mean that this snow golem can shoot at the shulker, which causes aggro in the shulker. The shulker will try to shoot back, but the bullets aren't able to pass into this space because of the trapdoors and the walls. So if I spawn in this guy, you'll notice that the snow golem will try to attack. Then the shulker will try to attack back, but the bullet doesn't have anywhere to go, so the bullet will try to pathfind over there and eventually end up hitting the shulker. So as we saw, we just got another shulker to spawn. Fantastic! It's working, isn't it? This is great! But as you'll see over time, this is a pretty inefficient method because of how many times the shulker gets hit with the bullet without actually splitting off. One reason is because there's other shulkers here. Another reason is because there's not very many spawning locations for these new shulkers. And then also, you know, over time, it's just going to take a lot of damage, and it might even teleport away before it fully dies, or it might just die. See, there you go. So it teleported away, and now our farm, quote unquote, is broken. So how could we improve this farm? The first method that I would see is to have a lot more valid spawning locations. So all this area that's just air, and all that area that is solid instone below the dirt, those aren't valid spawning locations. So if we make this big 17 by 17 area a little bit better for spawning locations, it'll be a much better farm. So first, I cleared away an area. So this is still that 17 by 17 cube. But now, if we add maybe some pillars or a grid of blocks, this will be a lot better to spawn more shulkers in. So in this situation, we should be good to go because now there is pillars going through, I guess they're, columns? What are these? Rows? There's rows of blocks going through the middle here, and that way, basically anywhere all the way around this block or on any of the sides, they will be able to spawn. So let's test out this version. Boop. There we go. Once we get aggro, it will fire off and then take some damage, and there we go. Now we already have another one spawning. So if we kill this, we can get rid of that 20% chance and wait for another one to spawn, and there we go. Now we have another one. So this one is definitely much more efficient. Now, there is still a problem that we basically can't kill them fast enough, and I am still seeing my shulker take some damage. So like right there, the shell was closed and it took damage, and you know, right now we already have 2 shulkers in there, and so we're already having, you know, not a great time. Now that it's taken some damage, it teleported out of our center area. So possibly some potions, healing potions for the shulker, or a way to kill these guys faster. All of these are other improvements that we could make to our farm. Now, luckily for us, there's another Minecraft creator that's done most of this heavy lifting, if not all the heavy lifting, RayWorks. And he has a fantastic farm that is incredibly efficient, amazingly efficient at getting shulkers. So if you need a shulker farm, you can check his video out, and I'll have that in the description so that you can see that. But if you needed just a general, like, okay, exactly how are these guys duplicating when I am in an in-city and every once in a while we get an extra one, what is going on? Well, those are all of the rules that allow shulkers to breed, quote unquote, or duplicate or split. So as long as they have their lid open, they're hit with a projectile, they have a spawning location within a 17 block cube, and they are not hurt, and there are less than 5 or hopefully no other shulkers in that same cube, then you will always be able to duplicate a shulker. Thanks so much for watching this episode of OMG Craft. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you found something useful. Hope that you learned a little bit of Minecraft knowledge. If you did, please give this video a like. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. And I'll see you in another video. Bye!